They might almost have been arriving for a victory parade. In fact, they were coming to hear the president speak for the first time since last week's Somali losses in the Ogaden. Coming to terms with defeat at the hands of Cuba and the Soviet Union is presenting very real difficulties. Victory cheering was still the pattern, as in this enormous Chinese-built stadium, the electric scoreboard flashed up the slogans that were to be chanted next. The president's arrival was accompanied by surging security, and as if to divert everyone's mind, a game of football was provided. Though President Barre gave all the appearances of studying the game, his mind cannot have been far from the carnage on the battlefront of the past few days and the enormous uncertainties of the future. When the crowd had settled, his speech was of a continued commitment to back the liberation forces in the Ogaden, and only a glancing reference to his forces having been pushed back in certain places. Intensive behind-the-scenes bargaining is going on by both superpowers in a desperate bid to win influence here in the aftermath of a Somali defeat. Staying in room 27 in this hotel behind me, a very senior Algerian diplomat, allegedly with a message from Moscow transmitted via their ally President Boumediene of Algeria. The Russians are, perhaps surprisingly, still here in Mogadishu. Though 3,000 or more were thrown out, an embassy staff of 10 remain, and amongst them Ambassador Samsonov, chief architect of the Soviet presence here at its peak 3 years ago. It is strongly argued he wouldn't still be here if the Soviets didn't cling to a hope that they can still restore some influence here. Down the road, the Americans too are involved in high-level maneuvering. The Somali ambassador to Washington has arrived, reportedly bearing an American deal of a massive injection of defensive weaponry once Somali regular forces leave the Ogaden. Jon Snow, News at 10, Mogadishu.